Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mossy Smart. And right away, let's answer a question from B Snags from YouTube. Dear Mossies, can we see your bird in the next video? Well, here she is. For those of you who watched last week's mailbag, you might have heard my bird chirping in the background. This is my pet cockatiel, Mikey. She's 16 years old, and for those of you who are longtime followers, you might have heard her or seen her in the background in videos and podcasts way back. So she's been around for a while, but let's jump into this week's real questions. Alright, first question comes from Sage of Triforce from Zelda Informer. Hi Mossies, as a collector, how are your recent experiences finding Zelda paraphernalia in the last year or so? Do you find it difficult to get all the World of Nintendo figurines and action figures without resorting to buying from scalpers? Do you like the various manufacturers that are getting licenses to make official Zelda merchandise? Are you having more or less difficulty in finding stuff from the 80s and 90s? Well, there's a lot there, and I'll address most of it. I've been collecting Zelda stuff for a long while, but I think I got real serious about collecting in like 2010, 2011, where I really started to compile stuff. In general, I try to stick with licensed material, and I think that was a lot easier some 5-6 years ago when I started doing this, because I feel that Nintendo has sort of let their license out for Zelda in particular a lot more loose in the last few years. There's a lot more figurines and statues. There's like the Figmas. There's more. It's just all over the place. You find like iPhone cases. You find little backpacks and like all sorts of things. And to me, this is just it's made it easier to pick up Zelda merchandise because it's now more accessible. You can find it at like Hot Topic or a lot of places, the Nintendo World Store, online, Amazon, all sorts of places, GameStop. But as a collector, I feel there's a lot of stuff out there now, and it makes each individual item less important to an extent because there's so much. I'm not sure if that really makes sense, but because of that, when I see a Zelda item, I still want it, but I don't feel I need to have it right away like I used to. So it's kind of made me more, I guess, relaxed about some Zelda stuff. Now, I still do a lot of collecting, and in particular, I like getting older stuff from, in particular, the NES, Super Nintendo, N64 games. Those are the Zelda items I like to collect the most. Some of the stuff is really rare and expensive, so yeah. I pick stuff up when I find it, but I'm not. There's a few items on my bucket list that I want to get, but for the most part, if I see something I want, I pick it up. Otherwise, I don't really actively search out new Zelda merchandise too often anymore. All right, next question comes from K Graham from YouTube. What are your top 3 dungeons from Skyward Sword? I had to think about this for a second. I'm like, wait a second. Are there actually even 3 dungeons in Skyward Sword? Being sarcastic, but there are very few dungeons in Skyward Sword. Really, there are the 6 main dungeons plus Skykeep, so 7 dungeons. Actually, not that bad. That's a decent amount. I shouldn't say there's not that many, but it didn't feel like there was many. I don't know why. There's something odd about it. I could say right away that I throw out the Fire Sanctuary. I think that was a more traditional Zelda dungeon, but it just didn't seem special at all, so that's out of the picture. Likewise, I think the Earth Temple was okay. Kind of small. It was the shortest dungeon, I believe, in the game. Not very memorable. So it really narrows it down to a handful of dungeons. I have to say that the Sand Trip was my favorite. I liked the time shift element, going back from past and present, and how the ship and the environment changed. So I think that was my favorite one. I would say the Skyview Temple, the first dungeon in the game. There was not that many rooms, but there was a lot going on. There's some backtracking, particularly in those first early rooms, going back and forth. I like it. I think it was a very well done initial dungeon. And then beyond that, I'm not sure. I'm sort of torn. Ancient Cistern, I know that's a fan favorite. thought it was okay. That was a good dungeon. The Lanayru mining facility I think was good. And Skykeep is kind of oddball. I'm not sure if it's one of my favorites or one of my least favorites, and not even just in the game, but in the whole series. I like that it was sort of like a greatest hits of the game type deal, and I think that's what a final dungeon should be. I think Ganon's Tower Ganon's Castle, I should say, in Ocarina of Time is another one that's sort of like that. And I did not really like the puzzle element where you can visit the rooms in different order, but good dungeon. I'd put that at number 3. Alright, next question comes from The Legend of Phoenix. Do you think Nintendo will let another company make a new Zelda anytime soon, like how Capcom made Minish Cap? Why or why not, and who would you think would make it? Well, I mean, Nintendo's sort of, bringing on new, I guess more like second parties with some of the creation of their, the remakes, and with Triforce Heroes, and with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. So, I mean, they've sort of been reaching out, like Grezzo's more involved now. That being said, I think it's kind of a unique idea, but maybe take an indie company, somebody that's developed and has a good track record, maybe give them a 2D Zelda to make. I think that's a good way, and just give it to them. Maybe throw some resources at them and be like, have at it. See what you can do. Give them some freedom and see what they come up with. Maybe it's an eShop title. Maybe it's a handheld title. Maybe it's a full-blown just a 2D console game. But I mean, I think that'd be a cool idea, and I think it's maybe out of the box thinking. But Nintendo, why not? Go for it. All right. Next question comes from RedTech98 from YouTube. What is an unanswered question in the Legend of Zelda series that you want answered? I would really like to know how the homeless man who lives under the bridge in A Link to the Past came to those circumstances. It's never told. I'd like to know that. In all seriousness, in general, I'm not sure if it's directly related to your question, but I kind of wish that Nintendo offered more backstory. I wish there was more to the lore of each of the individual games. I know there's sort of like the non-canonical stuff, like the manga and stuff, but it would be nice if there was actually some official material related to the series. I know we got a lot of that with like Hyrule Historia, but it'd be cool like if each new Zelda game that came out, and even retroactively, if they did some revisionist history and went back to the original games and just added some more fluff that was not actually in the game, but came in merchandise and resources outside the game, whether it be an art book or something that had all sorts of additional details or strategy guides, just official stuff, just to give some more information about the world and the characters in particular, and the stuff that happens before the events of the game. That'd be cool. I'd really like to see that. Not really an unanswered question, but yeah. Alright, the last question comes from Lake Tom from YouTube. It's probably an oversaid question, but will this YouTube channel ever get more video walkthroughs and blind fan game Let's Plays again? I've addressed the video walkthroughs several times, but short answer is yes. In terms of the fan games, I could answer this more specifically. I do plan on returning to doing more blind fan playthroughs of games. However, I'm thinking of doing them on Twitch. I think that'd be very entertaining. I can do it in one long playthrough. I can save the video record and maybe upload it later here to YouTube or whatnot. But it's more of a reactionary thing too, since I don't know what's going on. It'll be quite kind of interactive with the fans, and maybe they can help me out, as opposed to some of the previous videos I've done. I've been toying with that idea for a while, and I think it would make for good Twitch content, but I think maybe slightly editing down the videos to make them more manageable for YouTube after the fact. Just an idea, but I definitely do want to play some more fan game stuff. And back in the day, I used to play a lot of Zelda Classic and fan-created experiences. But I'd like to do a lot more of that. So, good question. Alright, that's going to do it for this week's mailbag. As always, you can send in your questions by posting them at the comments at Zelda Informer. You can post them at the comments at YouTube, or you can email me at webmaster@zeldadungeon.net. Until next week, I will see you guys later.